All right, this video right here is for my lovers. The people who just got out of relationships, or you have certain soul ties and you have certain connections that's just weighing heavy on your spirit. I want you to be very clear, right? You're not necessarily missing the person as you are missing the thought of who they were. What do I mean by this? If you actually enjoyed, loved, cared about that person, it was a healthy environment for you, you wouldn't be missing the situation. It wouldn't have been took from you. Anything that God removed from your life was removed for a reason. It was removed for a purpose. And the quicker that you realize that, the sooner that you're able to start the letting go and all the healing, etc. You see, a lot of the times we don't actually miss the person, right? Because the person has certain characteristics, and the characteristics that that person has is what got us into the situation that we're in. What we miss is the thought of who this person is. For instance, that's like when you very first get in a relationship with somebody, right? Or the honeymoon phase. You start memorizing, like not memorizing, but remembering all of those, dates y'all went on, all the conversations where y'all were planning your future, and all the close, intimate moments. That's what you're holding on to. So in the back of your head, somewhere in your subconscious thought, you've attached a piece of your reality, a piece of your identity to that person. So when you start thinking of that person, you're thinking about who that person was in relation to the vision or the illusions that you've created, not necessarily who they really were. You see, now I think the healing process becomes very, easy, or I'm not going to say easy, but easier once you start putting the power back into yourself. Once you stop looking outwards for things outside of you to complete yourself, you start realizing how full you actually are. When God removes people from your path, when God removes people from, being in connection with you, more chances than not, that is a blessing in some type of facet that is helping you in some realm of your life. Because if it wasn't, God would have kept it in your life. Like, I always want you guys to embed that perspective. Everything happens for a reason. Everything is intentional. Now, in the moment, it's kind of difficult to see, why it's, happening, why certain things is playing out in the facets that it is. But over time, you start seeing like, oh, I was about to meet another person. Or, oh, there was, a blessing that I was about to step into that I couldn't take them with me, but I had to, live up to that blessing and step into that energy before I actually understood the perspective, before I actually understood what was actually happening. Sometimes it takes time. And if you don't allow your life to play out, you'll start trying to rush cars or go back to people that God removed from your life, like as like a reward. Like, imagine asking for something and God's like, here, child, you deserve to move on. You deserve to experience something new. And instead of you taking that, you ask for it back.